Hi everybody, I'm Chloe. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button below and the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video, which I've been doing for the past, 8-9 days in a row with this series of presidents and what they did in office, which I call my Presidential Highlights series. It's going to be quite lengthy, obviously, because we have like 40 some odd presidents to go through. So today I am going to be talking about two different presidents, because the one served a very, very, very short term and the other one didn't really have much going on in his life, so it's going to be a little bit shorter video. So we are going to start today with William Henry Harrison, and you probably don't remember much about him. This is him, because he only served in 1841. His vice president was John Tyler, and March 4th of 1841, William Henry Harrison was inaugurated. Exactly 1 month later, April 4th, 1841, Harrison died of pneumonia. He was the first president to die in office. It was the shortest presidency in American history thus far. And the Constitution states, upon the death of the president, the vice president immediately becomes the president. So he didn't do anything. They claim that they think he got the pneumonia during his inauguration because he was standing outside. Apparently it was very cold that day, and he was standing outside without a hat or any kind of winter protection, and they feel that he caught pneumonia because his speech was 2 hours long. His inauguration speech was 2 hours long, and that's probably where he caught the pneumonia. So 1 month later, he passed away, first president to die in office. So very, very, very short presidency. So if you can just give me just 1 second, so I can show you a picture of our 10th president. Oh, wow. Okay. Some of these pictures are starting to look like they're actual pictures and not paintings. We'll do this one. Okay, so our 10th president was John Tyler, who went obviously from being the vice president to the president. So this is a picture of John Tyler. Hopefully I'll get a good thumbnail this time. And so his vice presidency during his whole first one term in office from 1841 to 1845 was vacant. So he did not have a vice president the entire time he was president. I was going to go back and check to see how many vice presidents had been vacant up until that point. I'll let you know tomorrow. So April 4th, 1841, Tyler assumes the presidency, and he was the first president to do so. September 11th, 1841, another key day, Tyler's cabinet resigns, except Secretary of State Daniel Webster. His entire cabinet resigned. And it was because Tyler vetoed the second bill for the establishment of a national bank. March 1st, 1842, Commonwealth versus Hunt. Massachusetts Supreme Court establishes legality of labor unions, including the workers' right to strike. So I guess that's when unions became a thing. August 9th, 1842, Webster-Ashburton Treaty. Now, when I said Daniel Webster, you might automatically think of the Webster Dictionary. He was not the one that wrote the dictionary. That was Noah Webster. And I don't know if there's any correlation between the two, if they were related or not. Webster may have been a popular name. I don't know. Kind of like Johnson or Smith is these days. So, in this Commonwealth, let's see. I already did that one. Okay, so the Webster-Ashburton Treaty, it normalizes the U.S.-British relations, and it adjusts the Maine-Brunswick border around Lake Superior. Now, if you remember yesterday, I was talking about the people in the lumberjacks in Maine and New Brunswick were fighting over the border and the trees. So that adjusted the borders around Lake Superior. November 1st, 1842, Democrats gained the majority. So the Congress elections, the Democrats gained the majority over the Whig Party, and the Democrats already had the majority of the Senate. April 12th, 1844, Texas Annexation Treaty. So this Texas annexation thing seems to be kind of like what we have been dealing with this year with the second stimulus bill, where the people can't come to an agreement. So the Texas Annexation Treaty was signed by the U.S. and the Republic of Texas. However, wait for it, that is not supposed to be a reference to Hamilton. May 24th, 1844, the first telegraph line was completed between D.C. and Baltimore, Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. So, June 8th, 1844, the Texas American Treaty failed. So, let's see, it was signed in April, and in June, it failed because it didn't get 2/3 the majority of the Senate. June 26, 1844, John Tyler marries Julia Gardiner. First, it was the first time the president marries while in office, so a lot of firsts here between these two presidents here. His first wife, Letitia, died on September 10th, 1842, and it was the first time a first lady died in the White House. She had previously had a stroke, and the entire nation mourned her. December 4th, 1844, James K. Polk was elected. Promises to re-annex Texas and reoccupy Oregon. So again, this whole Texas annexation thing was going on for a long time. February 28th, 1845, Texas annexation again. So it's not just the stimulus bill that the government can't agree on. Congress passes the joint resolution, and the Republic of Texas votes to accept it on June 23rd. March 1st, 1845, Tyler signs the joint resolution for Texas annexation. This is where Texas enters the U.S. as a state. The U.S. won't assume the Texas debt, but it could Texas could consent to more states. So above the 30-degree, 30-minute mark, I'm guessing that's latitude, longitude, those would be the free states, and below that area, below that line, would be slave states. March 3rd, 1845, Florida becomes a state. So that's the 27th state and a slave state in the Union. And March 4th, 1845, James K. Polk is inaugurated. Now, when I sign on to this website, it has, more current events and stuff like that. So, because right now we are in a transition period between Trump and Biden, it had a little excerpt on presidential transitions, which wasn't always the case, where there was like a 4-month period from the time that, let's see, I didn't write that part down. It was something to do with 4 months. I think it has to do with the way it is now, because November, December, January. I'm not sure, because James Polk was elected in December, and he was inaugurated in March. So that's where the 4 months comes from. So prior to this presidential transition, it gave the newly elected president 4 months to prepare to become president. But in the presidential transition, this you find very interesting. It began after the New Deal and World War II, during FDR's time in office, which that'll probably be another long one. prior to that, March 4th was considered the inauguration day, as you probably have been seeing that. March 4th seems to be the inauguration day. I don't think it was that way from George Washington. I'll look back in a second. It was a combination. This came into being as a combination of the bombing of Hiroshima and the 20th Amendment. So that's when this whole presidential transition thing happens. So we hold our elections in November, and the president is sworn in and inaugurated at the end of June, I think, or January. I think it's January 20th every year. I'm not quite sure. So let me see. Let me go back a little bit here we'll back up, class. Okay, so George Washington was inaugurated on April 30th. It doesn't say exactly when he was elected. I'm sure you can go into Hamilton and find that out. And then John Adams was the first one to be inaugurated on March 4th. And then I think every president thereafter was inaugurated on March 4th. So George Washington was the only one that was not inaugurated on March 4th. He was inaugurated on April 30th. See, it's a good thing I write these things down, huh? And he was inaugurated in New York City because at that time that was the capital. So there's your bit of information for today. So tomorrow we will be talking about the 11th president, which is James K. Polk. So I look forward to having you guys come back tomorrow to learn about him. I am glad that I'm able to bring this information to you. For those of you that are interested in past presidents and what happened during their time in office, a lot of this stuff, I think it was during Jefferson's time in office where I had heard about a lot of things, but I didn't know exactly when that happened. Trying to think. I'm trying not to use up too much of my time, sorry. Jefferson's, I think, was really long. I think that's the one that I had to do 2 different videos for. Washington Incorporated. Maybe it wasn't in his time, because I'm not seeing anything. Oh, the Louisiana Purchase, I didn't realize happened during Jefferson's time in office. All the different amendments. Burr killed Hamilton during Jefferson's time in office. Excuse me, my goodness. No, it's not COVID, trust me. I just have, Lewis and Clark, that was another one. I just have allergies. And it happens more in the winter, which is kind of strange. A lot about Lewis and Clark, a lot about Aaron Burr, which I didn't know anything about him before watching Hamilton. Yeah, I think those are pretty much the only things that you hear a lot about them, but if you're not into history, you don't realize when some of these things take place. Yeah, because Jefferson was the one that went back to Monticello. So, anyway, yeah, Jefferson had a lot going on in his term that I had heard about. Louisiana Purchase, Lewis and Clark, all that stuff. But I didn't realize that it was way back then. If you think about it, I mean, we're now up to 1845. And that really, it seems like it was a long time ago because it was the 1800s and we're now in the 2000s. But it really wasn't even 200 years ago. So it really, we're kind of, sort of into modern times. I mean, the first telegraph line was completed. So now we're talking about expanding the line of communication in the U.S. So technology, I guess, from back then. I mean, nowadays it seems ancient, but, you know, back then it was a big thing. You know, just like the web has brought the world into a smaller place, because we can be talking to people on the other side of the world at the exact same time, you know, in a split second. All you have to do is sign on to your social medias or go onto a Zoom or go onto Messenger, and you could be talking to somebody face to face through your computer in a totally different country on the other side of the world. I mean, it blows my mind. You know, when I grew up, we didn't have computers, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't even have remote controls, we didn't even have VCRs back then. So think of how far we've come since I've been on Earth, and I'm only 53. So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying this series. I hope you guys are learning a lot. Thank you to Star Shadow for always being consistent with your comments. I appreciate that. And welcome to my 40th subscriber. I'm so happy. I've finally got 40 subscribers, and probably in another year when I've got like 100, I'll be like, gosh, I was like so excited to get 40 subscribers. Now I'm up to 100 or whatever. Hopefully in another year I'll be up to 100 or more. My channel was slowly growing, but at least I got something that people are starting to get interested in. Of course, when this is over, then I'll have to think of something else. But, and I wanted to show you, I drink Coca-Cola, and today I'm enjoying Coca-Cola with a student, and you guys are my students, so, or sharing the magic with a student. So I hope you guys have a great day, have a sunny day, as I always say. I keep saying great day. It's finally clearing up, so I'll be able to see the Christmas star tonight, hopefully. I've missed all the celestial happenings here this month, the meteor shower and the aurora borealis, northern lights, and now this Christmas star. So hopefully tonight it'll be clear enough that I can see it, because I really want to see these celestial events. I'm kind of into, stargazing and stuff. So anyway, you guys have a great day. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Hope you guys are getting something out of it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on the next one. Have a sunny day. Class is dismissed.